The Force of Others, a Star Wars podcast.
Hello there, and welcome to The Force of Others. I'm Matt Boitner.
And I'm Zachary Owen Turner, and today we're talking about the Mandalorian and Grogu in all shapes and fashions. We're going to talk about the Empire magazine. We're going to review every single episode from Season 1, so if you haven't watched it in a while and you need a recap of your brain for what happened in Season 1, that's what we're doing today. And then I have a couple of small news stories about John Boyega and Rian Gosling. But before we get into all that, Matt had a game for me 2 weeks ago, so now I have a game for Matt. And since we're doing everything Mandalorian today, I'm doing a Season 1 Mandalorian this or that for Matt. All right, Matt. The Armor or Paz Vizsla?
Oh. The Armorer. But that's hard.
This is the way or I have spoken?
This is the way.
Queel or IG-11?
IG-11.
Coaxian monkey lizards or frogs for types of food?
Oh, that's right. There's a Coaxian monkey lizard on the spit
in the first episode. Yeah.
I mean, I ain't eating a frog, so monkey lizard. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Grogu or the Razor Crest?
Grogu.
All right. Toro Calican or Pelimoto?
Can I say neither?
No.
Then it's Pelimoto, I guess.
Grief Karga or Moff Gideon?
I will say Grief Karga because Grief Karga.
All right. And lastly, Din Djarin or Boba Fett?
Din Djarin.
Ooh,
Din Djarin
takes.
or anyone. Din Djarin or any Mandalorian character. It's Din Djarin.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go. Quick little game, but I thought it'd be fun. I saw this version of this or that on a panel. I think it was either Daredevil or one of the other ones.
Cool.
And I was like, oh, cool. Let's do that version. But how was your week? We haven't talked in like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So how was your week? How has Star Wars found you this week?
So Star Wars kind of found me on the cruise that I went on. There was a Star Wars trivia challenge naturally, and then I did go 20 out of 20. Zach we talked about it on the show that should I wear my podcast hat? Should I wear my podcast shirt? I did neither because it felt shamelessly self-promotive, right? I did tell one of the other guys that went 20 for 20, like, I do have a Star Wars show. And he was like, oh, okay. So if you're listening, David, hi. But I did not win said trivia contest because I do really well on these things until it's based on speed, right?
Oh.
Because it was one of those where they were bringing a picture into focus. And as the picture was coming into the focus, they were reading the question. And as soon as it was halfway focused, I could tell that it was the Royal Palace on Naboo. Mm-hmm. Right? In a shot from episode 1, right? But I was waiting to hear what the question was. And so as soon as he said, what planet, I reached, and it was, what planet is this picture from? And somebody else grabbed the thing that we were diving for, and I can't remember that guy's name, but he was cool. And so I did not win, but I feel like that's good, that there are Star Wars fans out in the world. Oh, but to get to the point of it, I went on a cruise this last week, and that's why we didn't have an episode. Also, because we did our Star Wars one-shot. Pew, 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 pew. But I wanted to say a life story real quick, because this show isn't just about Star Wars, it's also about real life. And a couple weeks ago now, I went back to the community college where my post-high school education started. A little bit about me, wasn't sure what I wanted to do out of high school, and so I was like, I'm going to go to the local college and figure out what I want to do. And pretty much there is one guy that is the reason I went into theater. He is the reason I went to Oklahoma City University and met Zach, the reason that I majored in musical theater, the reason that I went into education, the reason that I met my wife, because I did a show as a favor for a guy that I went to college with, and that's how I met Jenny, the reason that I now have a theater academy with like 300 students coming in and out of it at different times, can all get traced back to this one teacher at North Central Texas College, and that is Shane Studdard, shout out. I got to go see his second to last choir concert that he is ever going to put on. I can't go to the last one because it's the final dress for my shows that my academy's doing this May, but I could go to this one. It was really cool to go back to a place that I haven't been in almost 20 years.
Wow.
And just get to tell Shane what he means to me, and he knows, but still, it was the whole thing. He was like, you don't have to say it. And I was like, shut up, receive this praise. But also, I'll send Zach the video, but Shane is a huge Lord of the Rings nerd. Huge.
Yeah.
His office is full of Lord of the Rings stuff. It's basically just a Lord of the Rings office. So when I said, would you want to come on the show and just have a force of other stuff, Lord of the Rings, just love fest with Zach? And he was like, yeah. And he's got all the original books and all of the stuff. He has everything you could ever imagine. And he is a Lord of the Rings nutcase.
We can run him through the questions, but make them all Lord of the Rings themed.
We absolutely can. and you'll be very happy. And then the next week, we'll do Star Wars versus Lord. Well, this is what we'll do after we do franchise fights, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings. And it'll just be Lance dunking on Lord of the Rings for an hour, which I know will hurt your soul. And then we'll bring Shane on the next week, and he can make everybody feel better.
Yeah,
that likes Lord of the Rings,
which is everybody.
Which should be everybody. It should be everybody. But I got a lot to say in my Star Wars /nerd week. The cruise was great. Jenny and I had a wonderful time. Hard recommend Royal Caribbean. Just to talk about what my last week was. Every day I'd wake up, I'd get an espresso martini, I would go sit in a hot tub, and that's where I would be.
Nice.
And they would come by about every 20 minutes. You want another drink? Yes, I do. Thanks. So I was a fully marinated man for about 4 straight days.
Well, next time you get up here, I'll make you an espresso martini.
Or next time you come down to Rebel Scum Con.
Yeah.
But we'll talk more about that later. But Zach, how was your week? And I don't know, then we'll figure out how we're going to talk about our nerd weeks. But let's hear about your real life for a little bit.
Yeah, week was good. We did this was partially part of my Star Wars week as well. Kai set up a whole we did a rewatch. I've been talking about wanting to rewatch Cowboy Bebop for a while, which I know you're not an anime guy, but the way that they sold the show was if a galaxy far, far away met jazz. It is this really cool mix of this space western bounty hunters meets really cool jazz music, and everything's the entire show is kind of set to music. It's a beautiful show, and I didn't realize that there was a movie that they produced because it came out after the show was finished, and that was in a theater here. And so cool. We did a rewatch up to that point, watched the movie, and then finished it, which was really fun. So I was cool. Immersed in space and bounty hunters and ships breaking down, and it has that very lived-in world that Star Wars does, and so that was really fun. Been working a lot, but that's good as well. And then as far as how Star Wars found me, one of the foundations of Matt and I's friendship is Scrubs. And one of the pillars of things we watched in college together. And Scrubs is back. And they had, I don't know if you're caught up, but at one point actually. JD has this JD is now single, spoilers, but in the first episode they talk about it. And he's like, oh, cool, I have my own apartment again. We can do it however we want. And so he has this very big, the movie Big fantasy where they're jumping on trampolines and stuff like that. And their roommate is Chewbacca, and he comes out and he goes, and then he double bounces them into the roof. It's very, very silly, but I was like, yeah, Chewbacca, cool.
That's awesome.
And then the last way it found me is we talked about it at the top of the show. We're doing a Mando season 1 rewatch this week and going through all that. I was watching it wherever I had time because there was a lot to fit into a week, and I was at the gym and I was lifting hard, and it was what I had on the phone playing was Mando going through the second episode where he does the solo man attack on the Imperial base to get Grogu back. It's second or third episode, and I was just I'm gonna lift harder, save the Grogu.
We gotta save the child. That's hilarious.
Yeah. But
That's hilarious.
That's how Star Wars had found me, and then if you can't tell, I redid my little studio, so that was been fun too. We set up a whole little Star Wars shelf, so depending on what we're talking about, I'll have a nice little helmet here, and I got my stuff, and I got some fun lights,
awesome.
And so but that was also very fun.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Zach's. Yeah, I'm jealous now. And you got your Hoojibs book.
I did. Yeah, that's actually
Awesome.
Kai's. She found that at a vintage shop. So.
Yeah. Right on.
It's cool.
Well, as for just my nerd week, because there's a lot of stuff. I talked about the Star Wars quiz, but Zach, how do you feel that they're bringing back Firefly?
Oh, hold on. So I have had, yes, this is also Star Wars relevant. We might even have to talk about it on the show because I'm so excited.
Yes.
I have had this piece of merch on my desk since college. Since before college. I got this in high school. It is a Firefly Serenity plaque. I have Mal up here somewhere. He's up there somewhere, but I got Mal Reynolds somewhere. I love Firefly. I know that Joss Whedon is canceled, and he has nothing to do with the reboot, it sounds like. So yeah. I'm real excited about this show. I don't know how Alan Tudyk is going to be involved, except for maybe doing every other voice on the planet because he can. Because spoilers, he's dead.
It's not after the movie. It's between when the series ended and the movie.
Cool.
So no time has passed. It's back to just weekly Firefly adventures.
Here for it. So excited.
Yeah.
So excited. What about you?
I'm stoked. I mean, just if you don't know, listener, watcher, Firefly is incredible, and you should seek it out and watch it. If you like Star Wars, you will like this show. Basically, the differences between it and Star Wars is that it leans harder into the space western aspect, and that's kind of it. And it's like set in like a space version of like the real world, just because they talk about Earth. Outside of that, it's Star Wars with less tech, and there are no lightsabers. That's about it. Love that show. We've been waiting for more for 20 years, and the build-up that they've done on social media was incredible. Go check it out. It's so funny. It's just, Nathan Fillion is a treasure and a joy, and he's hilarious, as is the whole cast. But I'm here for Firefly. Other nerd stuff. We got a trailer for Dune 3. I am hyped, and I got a prediction that I have had since the moment I walked out of Dune Part 2. Chani is going to kill Paul. That is coming.
You haven't read the books then, brother.
I have read the books. They're changing the story. They've talked about from moment one how they've been changing the story, and they've already changed it. The first one opened with her narration. The second one had her resistant to the Messiah thing, talking about how there shouldn't be a Messiah that isn't Fremen, and ended with her in opposition to Paul, which isn't in the books at all. Not to mention, Paul's been having visions of her killing him from moment one. From the first movie. She is going to kill him, and he's going to let it happen. That's my hot take. That's my prediction, and I've had it since I walked out of the second one. I think it's what they're going to do. I think that will be way more cinematic and way more interesting if she kills him and he lets it happen, as opposed to him walking out into the desert to prove that he's not a Messiah. But if he lets a Fremen kill him, that will do the same story in a way more cinematic, tragic way. Right? Have you seen the trailer?
I have, yeah. I'm excited for it.
It literally ends with her walking towards someone with a knife, and he's saying, "But I must not die yet." And then it's Chani. Like, it's just, everybody's going to think I'm crazy, but I think that's what's coming. It might not be, but I think it's what they're going to go. I got one other thing. Dramatic lean away, dramatic pause. So everybody knows I'm a nerd. Shock.
If you're listening to this podcast, we're nerds.
I would not say that I'm a Disney adult, but I also don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. But I would say that I'm a big fan of the genie from Aladdin. That character's been big for me ever since I was a kid. And shout out Tom Hodges. I got the most ridiculous piece of custom art here. I was like, hey, could you make me a Jedi version of the genie? And not the Will Smith genie, the Robin Williams genie. He was like, I figured. And he gave me this. I love it.
That's cool.
It was like he kind of reimagined the genie's lamp as a lightsaber, which is super cool. There's always a secret Mickey in everything. And so he's got one on his little Jedi belt. But yeah, I love this. And so I have an original Tom Hodges that'll be up on the wall soon.
Yeah.
And yeah, pretty cool. This whole just talking about Star Wars and the internet thing. And now the guy that designed the Star Wars Dream Park made me some art.
Yeah.
One last thing to talk about before we go to news stories. What were you going to say?
I have one more thing, too, that I also forgot, but it
Well,
also
then
is Star Wars related.
You say it, because then I want to talk real quick about the Maul trailer that came out last week while I was cruising.
Well, speaking of trailers, your boy Ezra is stealing MJ in that Spider-Man trailer. Eman Esfandi is going to be in Brand New Day,
Spider-Man Brand New Day.
Yeah. But yeah, I was like, hey, that's my guy.
Yeah, I'm really worried they're going to do the man spider story and Tom Holland is going to transform into an actual spider because I'm pretty sure that's where they're going. And I was like, I want to watch this movie, man, but we'll see. As soon as he was covered in webs, I was like, oh, don't do this. Please don't do this. Please no. Because then they got the Punisher in it, so it's probably going to be Punisher hunting the man spider.
Maybe.
Punisher and Bruce Banner, and so you're going to get Man Spider versus Hulk and, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ezra's in the MCU. Mm-hmm. So Jabba the Hutt is now in the MCU.
Jabba the Hutt, Mr. Steal Your Girl.
Mr.
Literally.
So stupid. All right. But so this Maul trailer that happened, incredible trailer, full-on horror vibes. Zach did a little, there you go, Maul shirt preview. Zach did a little breakdown last week. I was texting him from the boat when I had Wi-Fi. But, so a couple takeaways for me. The shot where the Inquisitor Marok puts his, hands on Lawson's shoulders, right, is, so what I'm getting out of that is I think the Inquisitors are going to kind of reappropriate the cops to go hunt Maul. And that Lawson, I think he's going to team up with Maul by the end of the show. He's going to be hunting him, and then he's going to team up with him. Other silly little I saw somebody put this in our comments, but I saw it as soon as I watched the trailer, that now Sam Witwer has destroyed ATSTs with 2 Star Wars characters. Maul and Starkiller have destroyed chicken walkers. And then they released all the episode titles. One of the last ones is The Creeping Fear, which of course everybody's been talking about. That was an April Fool's joke as the title for Star Wars Episode 3. Yeah. They released it,
it's
and everybody...
It's a cool title, though.
I mean, but if that had been the title of Star Wars Episode 3, I understand why everybody got mad 20 years ago. But last bit, the last episode is called Finale. I am very hopeful that is just the finale of Season 1 and not the finale of Maul Shadow Lord. Because as willing as I have been to say that I'm cool with it only being 10 episodes... If it literally is only 10 episodes and no season 2, I will flip on a dime and complain.
Unless it's really good.
Even if it's really good.
So good.
Even if it's really good, I'll unashamedly be back on my whining because I said that I want this to be fill in all the Maul gaps, tell the remainder of Maul's story, and then let's send him off into the sunset. If it's just, here's a dope 10-episode story about Maul, and that's it, and there's never any more, I will be very sad.
Yeah.
So,
hey,
but Zach, you got
money
some...
moves everything, so...
Money moves, so everybody watch Shadow Lord, and we'll move the money.
Yeah.
That fell apart. Zach, you got some news.
Yeah, so John Boyega was at a panel recently. What is the... Well, either way, he was talking about Star Wars, and somebody said, get Dave Filoni on the phone, and he replied, I actually have, which is kind of the big news story for him. So, that means he and Filoni are talking. Matt, what do you think? What do we think that means? Do we think that he's going to be in the Kinberg trilogy? Do we think that, he's going to be back?
I think that what were you going to say?
No, go ahead.
I think that's what would make the most sense. I don't know that it means that he is going to be in it, but the biggest takeaway is that it makes me happy that the conversations have taken place.
Yeah.
Could be as simple as Filoni was like, are you willing to come back? And he was like, nah. You know what I mean? It could just be, that could be the negative, or are you willing? It strikes me as Dave Filoni reaching out and being like, would you be willing to come back? But yeah, I mean, little tip of the hat towards content that we might or might not make.
Yeah.
Zach and I have started to write a Star Wars episode, a treatment for our version of Star Wars Episode 10, knowing nothing about what's coming, just what we would do in a fictional universe where someone was foolish enough to hand us the reins to this franchise that we love, which they shouldn't do. But if they did, here's what we do. And we agreed that if there's a legacy character that is going to be in the role of the Obi-Wan Kenobi, the Qui-Gon Jinn, the Han Solo, it's Finn. Because they didn't really finish his story.
Yeah.
In our opinion, right? So if there's someone that's going to get the spotlight as the mentor legacy character in the first movie of the new trilogy, it should absolutely be Finn.
Yeah.
So my dream is that that's what they're going to do. But I would love, and that he's a Jedi. Because I think that's what JJ was alluding towards. Well, not even
sure.
I think. We know that's what JJ was alluding towards. But we didn't get to see him with a lightsaber, and we think that's what they were going to do, and they shied away. So don't shy away. I hope he's willing, and I hope he gets his lightsaber. Sorry, someone is calling me, and it is spam. That is annoying. All right, but what about you? What are your takeaways?
Yeah, I mean, we have seen him with a lightsaber, but not his own. I would love to see Boyega wield a lightsaber and be a Jedi. The other thing besides the Kinberg trilogy is I also saw a video of Oscar Isaacs on the red carpet, and somebody asked him about The Hunt for Ben Solo, and he was very coy about it. He was like, "What? What movie? What are you talking about? I don't know." What? And the guy was like, "You were in it, weren't you?" And he's like, What movie are you talking about?"
And that's right, I saw that clip, and he's so taken aback by it. You can tell it's someone that isn't on the internet all the time like we are. So he was like, "How have you heard of this?"
Yeah.
His poker face vanishes, and then he snaps right back in. Like, so he definitely,
So I'm wondering if both he and Boyega might have been in that movie or planned to be in that movie. And with new leadership, maybe we see Boyega return as a Jedi in The Hunt for Ben Solo, which would be very cool. But speaking of Jedi and other movies that are going to happen, Ryan Gosling broke his silence about the Tom Cruise of it all. And he gave a lengthy quote about it. He said, "It's the one day I'm not there. I worked on that movie the whole time. I get one day off. Sean sends me a picture of him, Tom Cruise, and Flynn Gray. They're in the mud, and I was like, what? And they were like, yeah, Tom Cruise flew his helicopter onto set. They were just shooting, and they heard a helicopter. They had to cut, and it was Tom Cruise. He lands in the middle of the set. He takes a camera, and he just starts shooting the action scene. There's like a shot of him in the mud with Flynn shooting, and this is Flynn's first. I mean, it's not his first film, but it's like one of his films. It was an incredible moment, and I don't know why he waited for the one day I wasn't there. I'm going to hope that was an accident." But I don't know how much of this is hyperbole of him being like, yeah, no, he just landed in the middle of the set with a helicopter, and how much of it is actually true, because Tom Cruise do crazy stuff, you know? He jumps over couches. He jumps on couches, if you don't remember. People forget the Crazy Tom, but Crazy Tom's always there. But cool. Also crazy that Gosling wasn't there for that day, so he might not be in that sequence.
Well, and we know what that sequence is from the initial interviews about it. It was a lightsaber duel, and if he wasn't in that, if he's not in that sequence, he ain't dueling with no lightsabers, or at least not in that part. But we know that Flynn Gray was there, so
it gives us a little bit of nuggets about what that movie is going to be.
We're getting little pieces here and there. So I will choose to believe the Hollywood legend of it all, that Tom Cruise landed his helicopter right by the set and was like, "What's up?" And
give me that camera.
It does kind of change the story from, a friendly Tom Cruise just set visit to he landed right by set, and now they're like, "Do you want to shoot this?" I guess. And he was like, "Oh, Don't make me. Don't give me the camera. Whatever, but it is still a cool story. It's very J.J. Abrams energy of like all the people that would show up to episode 9 and then would be cameos in the movie.
Yeah.
I will be shocked if Tom Cruise is not a like masked cameo or a voiced cameo after all of that. You know what I mean?
Maybe.
Not that in a way that you would never notice, like in the same way that
like if you took the dialogue from, John Wayne and like mixed it a little bit. And
Shut up. Stop bringing up Garindan. But like something with like Kevin Smith in The Force Awakens or Daniel Craig in The Force Awakens or I never remember this guy's name.
In Last
Tom
Jedi.
Hardy, that got cut. But yeah, something like that where it's like you wouldn't know they were there unless you knew it was them. But yeah, you got any other takeaways on that?
No, it's fun. It's fun Hollywood craziness and
Yeah.
It gets me, I don't know, just thinking about Ryan Gosling being in a movie that is Star Wars is exciting. They made all the money this weekend on Project Hail Mary. I have not gotten to see it yet, but I will go see it sometime soon because I like Andy Weir and I like Ryan Gosling. But yeah, it's cool. I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. But so to keep it in Movieville, but move it into Star Wars Movieville, and Star Wars Movieville that's right about to happen, Mandalorian and Grogu got featured in Empire magazine. When we talked about the preview for it a couple weeks ago, I was like, yeah, it comes out in May, and I was wrong. It came out like 2 days later. But a lot of it was already in the preview. There were only a couple new things. We got a picture from the movie of Grogu in a cage. Looks like in the arena. Probably watching Din fight with 2 other characters kind of with him that we've never seen before. But they didn't look particularly remarkable. It was just Grogu in a cage. And I was like, oh, that sucks. Don't put our boy in a cage. And then Favreau gave a quote on the Imperial Warlord, the guy that we see on the snow planet talking to the table of people. I was wrong. He was in Mandalorian Season 3. But also he says about that guy, when you hear his name, you're gonna like it. Now, there's 2 ways to take that. One,
his name is Pelion.
We've met Pelion. He's in that scene from Mando Season 3.
His name is the other one from that book.
There's nobody else in the Heir to the Empire stuff. But yeah.
The one that messes up.
That would be wild. The guy that messed up the tractor beam?
The guy
Thrawn doesn't kill?
No, the guy that messes up the assault on when they're at the end of the first book, where he like goes in too strong, and in the second book he's like, hey, don't just like rush in. We have to follow this plan. That's a good pull.
I don't
remember that character's name, but
what I was gonna say is, there's 2 ways to take this, and I don't think it's the first one. It could be a deep cut name, or it could just be a silly Favreau name. Could be Favreau. You know what I mean? Could be like oppressive fascist and like Fash. You know what I'm saying? Like it could be, but it could also be a deep cut for him to be like, when you hear his name, you're gonna like it. Like it could be a Warlord Zinj as just like a well-traveled name from the EU, but who knows?
Yeah.
So I just thought it was interesting. And then we got a quote from recent Oscar winner Ludwig Göransson on Grogu.
Second-time Oscar winner.
There you go. Well done. But about Grogu, he says, in Season 1, he's obviously not as much of a presence as he is in this film. Now he's got a lot more screen time. He's a lot more present. He's not a little kid anymore. He's more grown up. He's more independent. And there's a place to take him, which is one of my favorite parts in the film, where we really get to spend some time with him and get to know him. Super interesting. I'm going to before I get your take on that, I'm going to combine it with something Kathleen Kennedy said about Grogu. This was with a chat with Variety at a different event. But about Grogu, she says he will not speak in this film. Says he never says a word. Grogu, like E.T., is another perfect example of a character that has to emote and you have to feel connected to, and he never speaks a word. So how do you feel about Ludwig saying Grogu grows up and you get to spend time with him, and Kathleen saying he will not speak? What's your takeaways?
I'm okay with him not speaking, but I think it's a thing that needs to pay off sooner rather than later. because I think your window is shortening. Like maybe after this movie, if he doesn't speak in the next season, like just a couple of words, like something, I think would be a miss on Lucasfilm's part. As far as getting some time with Grogu, I kind of figured that from the trailer of him like in the sewers and all that. I think we're gonna actually see a lot of like a good probably 20 minutes of movie, maybe I'm gonna say, of him by himself, which would be cool in a 2-hour movie, of him doing a little solo adventure in the sewers. And we actually got a little TV spot as well this week, and at the very end of it, we see Mandu and Grogu pop into the Imperial Walker, and there's bombs behind it, and Grogu taps his helmet like, hey, time to go. And they shoot out, So we've already seen like little nuggets of it in that TV spot. But cool stuff.
Yeah. Similarly, I don't like saying that he won't speak. And I don't like the idea of, like, I understand the storytelling style and technique of his archetype is he's the R2-D2, he's the character that you relate to without him talking. Yeah. However, as of right now, in December of this year, we will have had 7 years of him being that. That is in real world time.
Yeah.
At a certain point, I do think your characters need to grow and change and evolve. But I think I've said it before, I like it to a degree of if this story is about them being a found family and Din taking care of someone that does need taking care of, but can also be way more capable than Din, right?
Which we've seen from moment one.
Yeah. I like that idea of, like, the first time he speaks will be as Din dies, and he calls him dad.
Yeah.
And drag that out, hold off on that as long as possible. Because we could jump into the Rey New Jedi Order film or the Simon Kinberg stuff, and whether you see him or not, there is mention of Master Grogu.
Yeah.
Right? The way that I would do it is you don't see him on screen, you just hear about him. Master Grogu, where's he at? He's off doing amazing things, and just hold off on that.
Yeah.
Right? Just give us that lore nugget, and for those that know, but move on. But yeah, I like what Ludwig had to say about it. I think that it's the time that we spend with him. My guess would be, if I had to write a movie, after what we've seen, Grogu will free himself out of captivity or get freed somehow, and then he's going to be with that puppet that's going, "Are you afraid? You should be," or whatever he says. The guy that looks like Yoda's master from Legends, like Incata del Gormo or something.
Yeah.
Which is a deep cut. But that's my guess. That being said, that's pretty much what we got out of Mando and Grogu.
Yeah.
You want to start talking about Mandalorian Season 1? Or what were you going to say?
Oh, I was going to say he could also be Master Eodiko Daki from the Maul Shadowlord trailer. I don't think so.
No. Well, I think he looks... I guess the face is similar, but the nose is totally different.
Yeah.
But anywho, all right, so it is time to recap Mandalorian Season 1 and review the heck out of it.
Before we get into like episode by episode, just overview, I think we should talk about.
Sure.
I forgot how great this first season is. It is snappy, it is good, it is quick. I remember watching it the first time and being like, man, I wanted more, and I watched every episode twice. I remember that like every week it would come out, I'd watch it the night of, and then I'd watch it like another time during the week, and that was super fun as like as a fan. But I'm happy for the episode length, especially on a rewatch, because I was like, cool, how are we gonna fit 8 episodes in? And then you're like, oh, they're all like 30 minutes. All right, let's do this, But the characters are very clearly defined. I think it moves very, very much more than I remember it moving. I remember thinking that some episodes were kind of fillery, but none of them really totally are, which is great. I think it's a really great, solid first season, in a way that I think it's better than maybe season 3 is. So, yeah, that's my overview. Overview for you?
Yeah, I have always liked how this show is straightforward. I think this show shines when it's episodic, mythical, straightforward, simplistic, archetypal adventures. Don't overcook the grits.
Yeah.
When everybody says that they want the movie to be this big thing that sets up the next storytelling. No. I want a straightforward adventure with Din and Grogu. That's what Jon Favreau has always done. That's what he's best at. Let's do that. Give me a space western with two characters that we know and love. And you can grow their characters a little bit over the course of the story, challenge them. But in terms of the universe at large, that's not what The Mandalorian is. The Mandalorian is about Din being a man of honor in a lawless time, protecting this kid.
Yeah.
And I love this season. I've always loved this season. I've talked about it before. For me, it's season 1 and season 2 are some of my favorite Star Wars TV stuff, period. And season 3, it got away from what this season does so well. It kind of got a little, I'm down for a complicated story about the Mandalorians becoming who they should be, but I don't think they really told that very well.
Yeah.
But about what we're talking about, I love season 1.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's great. All right. Episode by episode.
Yeah. Chapter 1, The Mandalorian. We're going to give you a little recap. So if you haven't watched it in a while, we're going to give you a summary of each episode so that way you're ready to go into Mandalorian and Grogu the movie having remembered everything. Chapter 1, The Mandalorian. Bounty hunting is a dangerous profession. We meet the Mandalorian, a bounty hunter operating 5 years after the Battle of Yavin. After capturing the Mithril on Pagodon, Din Djarin turns him into Grief Karga, the head of the Bounty Hunters Guild on Navarro. Din then accepts work from the fledgling Imperial Remnant sect to retrieve a bounty. After a brief trip to the mysterious armorer and a secret underground Mandalorian covert to gain a new pauldron, he heads to Arvala 7, where he meets Queel, an Ugnite moisture farmer, who helps him find his quarry. Mando teams up with and then kills IG-11 to save the child, a 50-year-old infant of the Yoda species.
Yeah. Well, and something else I was going to say, I wrote down a favorite moment or favorite thing from each episode.
Yeah.
Do you have that?
Yeah, I got a couple. I have at least one for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I got my likes and dislikes, but as for my favorite moment of this episode, the opening sequence. From the shot of Din holding the fob into frame all the way through, I can bring you in warm or I can bring you in cold. Excellent.
Yeah.
Absolute. Honestly, and in a universe where that was all we ever got, I would still think it was perfect.
Oh, yeah.
I'd be like, what a cool Star Wars short. Awesome.
Yeah.
Your favorite moment?
It's probably either that or I really love the Star Wars comedy that we get between Din and IG-11 of being like, I must self-destruct now. He's like, don't self-destruct. He's like, no, I cannot be captured. He's like, no, just work with me. You know, I will never not love a flustered person trying to do a job and their fluster is funny. So I love that moment.
Mm-hmm. Especially when they're dealing with a droid that all the droid is trying to do is stick to their programming because that's what they can do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, love it. Yeah. But, okay, so as for likes, I'll tell you, I don't have any dislikes for this episode.
Me neither.
But there's other likes or other little things to bring up. I love Rough Mando. Chrome Mando is great, but Rough Mando is awesome.
Hot take, I think it's a better, I think it's a better armor, and I think it tells more of a story.
Well, yeah, yes. Yeah. I think it boils down to Favreau likes Chrome.
Yeah.
It's the same reason that Mando's ship is Chrome.
Armor, you know.
But it's also, it looks like the Mark II Iron Man armor in that it's smooth and chrome. I think Favreau just likes that look, and that's cool. But yeah, your next big like.
I really like there's something epic in scale and just locking in on that Western style about this first episode that I kind of miss from later seasons. But like that first, like you said, the opening sequence is so Western. It's so epic and like it just feels grandiose in a way that is still grounded. And I really love that about this episode.
Yeah. Awesome.
What about
you? Next big like, Carl Weathers.
Yeah.
Like, period after both of those names. Carl Weathers, awesome. I still remember losing my mind when I found out he got cast. I was like, that is so cool. That's like perfect. How has he never been in a Star Wars movie? And that's the vibe that I think Jon Favreau brings. Favreau just like gets it.
Yeah.
I think. So, or he gets this specific style of Star Wars and does it, I think, better than other people. Yeah, but your next big one.
Next big one for me, I love Queel and the Ugnaught, Ugnaught and the Blurg and all that. I had forgotten how much I love Queel because, spoilers, he doesn't make it out of the season, but I love that character. I Have Spoken was such a thing that people would say that the year that this came out. It was, I think, arguably bigger than This Is the Way for that first season. And he's such a captivating character. And I'm so glad that the Mando's sigil is in a blurg because that's really the first monster that he tames.
Oh, yeah. Can you imagine? That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. Next big one for me, Chain Code. Such a cool addition, and what I was kind of getting at a second ago, to me, I like the way Favreau does the type of thing that JJ does. Like when you compare Chain Code tracking fob to Wayfinder, you know what I mean? It's like, there's something, like Favreau does the same thing. That's, you hear it and you can piece together what it is without it literally just being Wayfinder. It finds the way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It gets the same deal, but does it with just a skosh more mystery.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Back to you. I got two more.
I got two more as well. I love
perfect.
The Mandalorian cohort. This like just being underground. This mysterious. There's so much mystery behind what the Mandalorians are in this, and we've seen Mandalorians in the Clone Wars, so like this different version of them, the shock that like the little tidbits as she's making the armor and we see Din's past, like that whole sequence is so beautifully done and just so much mystery around what a Mandalorian is.
Yeah. Well, and I'm gonna blow this up for a second because the only dislike that I have about this episode, and it's kind of a dislike that I have about the whole show, and let's just screw it. It's our podcast. We'll get into it. I don't know that I like the creed.
Really?
Especially with the quote recently where Favreau said, and I'm going to butcher it, but we talked about it a couple weeks ago, and you can find it, where he basically says, we always you want to find times to get the helmet off and see Pedro, but that goes against the archetype that we built up with the creed, or all the work we did with the creed and the archetype of the helmet. The helmet is the archetype of the character. And so it's like, okay, which tells me that the creed was there to give reason for Favreau liking the Mandalorian helmet and wanting to have this character be what Boba was in the original trilogy, which was a dude in a cool helmet that was very mysterious.
Yeah.
You don't see who he is because the mask is more interesting, which is, to me, if it's that, never take the helmet off, man. I don't know. I think it kind of, because then to have season 3, or if it's going to be that, don't do season 3. Yeah. Don't tell a story about how the creed is dumb and it doesn't matter and we should come together despite differences. Because if that's what it is, take the helmet off all the time. You know what I mean? I think it kind of overcomplicates it to a point of where you're just like, why?
Yeah.
Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
I almost wish you're just like, yeah, there's the creed, and then never, I don't know. But that's going nowhere. As for the way IG-11 moves, I mean, the whole character, Taika's voice, Taika's improv that I'm sure they had to work into all of it, and it must have been a nightmare. But the way he moves is so scary and so cool, and it just makes me think about the way they were talking when they were making it, about how everybody thought IG-11 is so cool in Empire Strikes Back, and he was a statue that was bolted into the set, because there was no way to move that thing in a way that looked good in 1980.
Yeah.
So now he's going to be this, he's going to function off of pistons and hydraulics. But, back to you.
My last one is finally seeing an IG unit do work. Just the way that he shoots and like you're like, okay, cool, he's a bounty hunter or whatever. Like we saw him next to, Bosk and all them, but just seeing how efficient of a like killing droid it is, because we saw a little bit in the Clone Wars, but not like this. This is cool. But
yeah,
that's my last
same
one.
deal. Well, I'm bouncing back. Did you? What do you think about the Creed and what I had to say about it?
I think it works in this first season. It works in the second season. The third season, it gets muddy. I don't agree that you should never take off his helmet, because the payoffs that we get for when you do take off the helmet work so well. Mainly in season 2, moving forward, like him showing his face to his son before he gives them to Space Jesus, is a perfect moment. I don't like how they handled it in season 3, because now you have 2 different sects of this like people, and one's a religion and one's not, and like it just gets all very muddy. And so I'm very curious to see what they do with it in the movie, because based on the trailer, he's out of the helmet a lot. So I don't know, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Now that the movie, you have more time and more money to pay Pedro Pascal, so maybe after season 3 and they've all come together at the end there, it's like, yeah, cool, like you could take off your helmet if you want.
Yeah.
But it does add so much mystery in this first season. I think in this season it works perfect.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk more about it when we get to season 3. Yeah. But as for what we're talking about right now, last big like for chapter 1 of The Mandalorian, dog Grogu.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And
the reveal is perfect.
And even more than just the reveal in the show. Everybody likes to crap on the corporates that are in charge of Star Wars now, and justifiably so. But give them credit. The bravery to not reveal Grogu early and sacrifice a year of marketing. When you watched the pilot for The Mandalorian, this first episode, you had no clue that there was a Baby Yoda until you got to the last minute of the episode.
And
then
everybody's
like,
show.
What? And it absolutely sold the show.
Yeah.
But then for the next year, everybody was like, where's all the Grogu merch? And they eventually said, we didn't know about him. They didn't reveal that character to Lego or to any of the brands that make merch. So they had no clue. They were scrambling. There were like a couple mugs that were out in the world, and that was about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, anything else on chapter 1?
No, it's a perfect episode.
I hard agree.
Yeah.
Love everything about it. Chapter 2, The Child. After being attacked by rival bounty hunters that also have tracking fobs to the child, the Mandalorian has parts of his ship stolen by Jawas and has to set off on a quest to regain them. After a high-speed chase and some negotiation with the help of Queel, the Jawas send Mando after Suga, the egg of the Mudhorn monster. While fighting the Mudhorn, the child uses the Force to stop it, and we learn that Din has never seen anything like this before. Mm-hmm. Thoughts on Chapter 2, Zach?
Yeah, overall, it's a fun episode. I think it doesn't have the magic and mystery and, like, perfectness that the first episode does, but I think it's really great. My favorite part of this episode is the sequence of him chasing after the Jawas. I think it's so fun, and the poor Jawas getting evaporated, just like, and them electrifying him. I love that high speed chase that they're able to do in the volume somehow, which was pretty cool. What is your favorite part?
It's the same sequence, and specifically that they beat Din up.
Yeah.
We get so many heroes that are infallible nowadays. Now I'm an old man yelling at clouds. We get just that they never have any struggles, and this man gets beat up by Jawas in episode 2. Yeah. It's hilarious, and I love it. And just him absolutely nuking Jawas with the disruptor rifle will never not be hilarious.
Yeah.
Because they gone. Dust Jawas. So funny. Yeah. And similarly, the idea to this show does this so well, they don't explain things, they just do it.
Mm-hmm.
Jawas are interstellar now.
Yeah.
Done. No explanation, just they're interstellar. Why? Because why not?
Yeah, I mean,
why not? That's the reason.
You can get on a ship and go somewhere else, like,
yeah,
it's great.
Especially if they're people that deal in stolen tech.
Yeah.
They would have really crappy ships, or they would just pay for passage.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
Yeah.
But back to you.
Yeah, I love the bits of Jawa lore we get in this episode. Just like we've never really heard them really talk and negotiate besides the 2 minutes that we get in A New Hope. We learn something about the Jawas. We learn about the Suga, the egg, and that they're obsessed with this goo, which is disgusting to watch, but also so funny. So I love the lore that we get behind the Jawas and their how distrustful they are of him being like, you can't bring the guns to the negotiation. He's like, I'm a Mandalorian. Guns are my religion.
I was wrong. I think my favorite part of the episode, I do love that he gets beat up, but it's not. It's Suga. It's that Din goes through all this, he barely dies, and then he hands over this thing, and the guy grabs it, karate chops it open, reaches in, clearly just holds up the goop to, the mask, but just kind of hides it under the thing, and he's like, and then presents it to the rest of the Jawas. Suga. That's my favorite. I laughed. I remember when I watched it, I think I rounded back and watched it 5 times. I was wrong. The karate chop coupled by your Suga.
Yeah.
It's excellent.
Similarly, I also love when they're driving and Din's stuck in the little walker and the one goes, Suga. He's like, Suga, we're almost there.
Another great Jawa bit. I think it's so funny. It's the same guy, the head Jawa. He's like, you speak like a Wookiee. And it makes him mad and he goes to shoot him. It's so funny. But I got one other for this episode. You got anything else?
I got one more. I love two things really, but I'll do them real quick. The vibroblade, finally seeing a vibroblade vibrate, which is really cool. That's what Din has at the very end. And just the mystery of seeing Grogu use the Force and pick up a giant, rhinoceros with just the Force, and Din's like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Just the growing mystery of what the child is.
Well, that's a good point, because I remember that moment impacted me as a Star Wars fan, just the reminder of, hey guys, we've been watching stories about a couple characters for 30, 40 years or whatever. The vast majority of the galaxy does not know about the Force. Mm-hmm. Don't forget that. It was news to Luke. Luke knew about Jedi. He didn't know what the Force was. And so for Din and Kuiil to have really no concept of that, so cool.
Yeah.
Such an awesome moment. Very, very underrated. But similarly with Kuiil, my last for this episode, saying goodbye to Kuiil. Speaks to the Western archetypal storytelling that they're not going to get on Facebook and, check them out. When you say goodbye, you say goodbye. Obviously, he goes back to the ranch and they meet up, but it's not I'll call you tomorrow. It's hey man,
thanks.
Take care.
Yeah.
Thanks for everything. And I'm probably never going to see you again.
Yeah.
But yeah. You got anything else?
Nah, that's it.
Sick. Okay, so moving into Chapter 3, The Sin.
Chapter 3, The Sin. Mando turns in the child to gain his Beskar. He goes to the armorer to gain a new suit of armor, but no signet, for it was not a noble kill. The Mandalorian wrestles with his conscience for turning in the child. Not able to live with the guilt, he makes a one-man assault on the Imperial Remnant. After the Remnant calls for the help from Greef Karga and every bounty hunter on Navarro, the Mandalorian covert reveal themselves and come to Din's rescue. All right, opening favorite part for you on this one.
The ball. Just the little ball on the top of whatever that is in the Razor Crest, and that it's done so well that it starts with the kid reaching for it, and Din, who's still in gruff, disaffected, I don't have emotions mode, just gets the kid away, it's not a toy. And then that he looks at that as he's going to leave on a different job, and you get the character doesn't have to say what he's feeling. What he's feeling is clear.
Yeah.
And that's what's just a reminder of, I gotta save this kid.
Mm-hmm.
And then that at the end of the episode, perfect button, grabs the ball, hands it to the kid.
Yeah.
Perfect representation of their relationship. And other big thing that I wanted to bring up, as just not a favorite moment, but kind of the biggest kind of real world moment of this. This episode was directed by Deborah Chow, and supposedly they loved working with her so much, and they thought this was such a smooth experience that they gave her the Obi-Wan show. Man.
I like the Obi-Wan show.
I'm down for a rewatch. And I love Deborah Chow as a storyteller, but I think something went wrong with that one. But anywho, Zach, favorite part of chapter 3.
It's also good, but I think it has to be his one-man assault on the Imperial Remnant. Just seeing a Mandalorian use all of the tools that a Mandalorian has, the flamethrower, the whistling birds, the just good at being a shooter, it's all so cool. It's what you wanted to see Boba Fett do, and never got to until you get to see him do it in season 2. But, it's great.
Yeah. Yeah. The sidebar on the whistling birds, I do think it's so funny. Use them sparingly, for they are rare. And he spams them like crazy at like every opportunity. Pew, 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 pew. Like, I think it's hilarious. But yeah, to that same moment, I wanted to bring up, fascinating that Dr. Pershing is trying to protect Grogu.
Yes, I have that here.
I had completely forgotten about that.
Yeah.
I had forgotten about that moment altogether. What were you going to say?
No, I also have that. I had also not remembered that, him being like, don't hurt him, he's just a kid. And he's like, I never caught that.
Yeah, wild. In that same sequence, that poor stormtrooper that Din flamethrowers, it's so funny. That guy dies horribly.
Yeah.
He roasts him probably longer than he needed to. And it feels mean to laugh at, but it's really funny. In that sequence when they have lamps on the stormtrooper rifles, at the time I was running a campaign, Star Wars campaign for Nolan. Shout out, was just in our Order 66 one shot, and just other buddies.
Vader's Castle one shot.
There you go.
Yep.
That's right, Vader's Castle one shot. But Nolan was in that campaign and several others, and they had just stolen some stormtrooper rifles and were using them as their guns. And as soon as I saw lamps, I was like, on Saturday, they're all going to ask if they now have lamps on their rifles. And I'll just be like, yes, that's fine. And then that sequence, again, you don't need words to tell the story, but just the tracking shot of all of the tracking fobs going off in the bar as soon as Din makes it out of the Remnant. And you just know, because earlier they set it up. How many other fobs did you give out? And he doesn't say. But that it's everyone, and everyone is coming for Din and the child. It's awesome. Back to you.
Yeah. I'm going to kind of go speed through this because I'm looking at how long we've been...
it's going to be a long one. It is what it is. It's fine.
I also have the brutal flamethrower and the whistling birds and Pershing. I love that we get a reveal of the signet before he actually gets it, and he's like, no, it wasn't a noble kill. That like, it should be, but like, I didn't do it myself. I didn't, I love that he admits to it, and I love just the like mythos behind that, and then it pays off really well in the last episode. But,
100%. The one that we have to bring up, the Camtono.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. That you take that Favreau loves that original trilogy and loves the inside jokes, that he takes a ice cream maker from the 80s that Wilro Hood is on screen carrying for 5 seconds.
Yeah.
That has become this thing that Star Wars fans make fun of and love, and makes it the container for like the coolest thing in Star Wars for Beskar armor. So funny.
I got
you got one?
I got my Beskar.
Yeah.
I 3D printed this, but yeah.
Nice. I love that. One other thing two other things to bring up. The way they stretch out his origin reveal over the entire first season is just good. Had to shout it out.
Yeah.
The way Grief Karga chews out that one bounty hunter. You had your shot, Dust Breather, but you failed. Now get out of here. It's just so funny. And I love that Grief's greed is what saves him. He gets shot by Din, and it's that Beskar ingot that you just had that saves his life, and then his arc over the season, daring to care about the Empire.
Yeah.
Only dislike, last thing to say, Paz Vizsla's awkward flyby.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's so awkward. I don't know. Just something about it just does not look human.
Yep. I have 2 other things as well.
Cool. Hit it.
I never realized that we see Zero, the bounty hunter droid that is in the prison break sequence, in this sequence. He's one of the ones that attack.
Yeah.
It could just be that kind of droid. But I was like, oh, cool. I never realized that. I also love that he shoots Karga in the Beskar, whether or not he knew it or not, but maybe he did. And then I have a little discussion question for this one. Do you think those eyeball droids are beings? Because when he pulls the eyeball droid out, it like screams in pain. Do you think that's an alien? Because it's
No.
like...
I think it's just a Star Wars joke, because it should scream as it dies horribly.
Yeah.
And I think it's just a bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's a good point. That's funny. Hadn't thought about that.
Yeah.
Do you think they're beings? Right on. All right, Chapter 4. Sanctuary. The Mandalorian goes 7 samurai.
Mm-hmm.
Hiding out on a remote planet of Sorgan, Mando meets an ex-Rebel Alliance drop trooper named Cara Dune. They save a village being extorted by brigands and an old AT-ST by teaching the villagers how to defend themselves. Mando is confronted by what it would be like to settle down and have a family, and plans to leave the child here in the peaceful village. But after a bounty hunter tracks them down, resolves to keep the child with him.
Mm-hmm.
Zach, favorite thing about Chapter 4 Sanctuary?
My favorite thing about Chapter 4 Sanctuary, as I get my Grogu cup, is Grogu drinking the tea. Of him just sitting there while Mando and Cara are fighting, being like, "You guys done yet?" Like,
it's such a good moment. Yeah, for sure.
What about you? Top favorite moment?
It's kind of an in real life thing. Bryce Dallas Howard getting to direct Star Wars.
Yeah,
and crushing it. Every single episode she has directed has been awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Even the ones that like the story isn't amazing, she always does a great job. And just with this one, worth bringing up, this is the first episodic adventure.
Mm-hmm.
This was a reset for me when we watched this, because the first 3 were one story, and I was like, okay, it's going to be 8 episodes about Mando and this kid. Nope. Yeah. We're doing 7 Samurai. And really this is kind of where we learned what the show was, right? But there's great Grogu comedy throughout the whole thing. And honestly, the biggest reason I wanted to shout out Bryce Dallas Howard, this could have been really bad. Mm-hmm. Like when you look at it on paper, this could have been awkward. But even just little moments like Mando, stop touching things. Very, very funny.
Yeah.
And then I think when they're talking to the crowd, I lost it. But you can't live here anymore. And she's like, good, subtle. It's like so funny. Yep. But back to you.
Speaking of Bryce Dallas Howard, the opening of this this episode, they treat the AT-ST like a T-Rex.
Yeah.
You hear the dong, dong, and you see the water ripple, and I thought that was a really cool opening, a cool nod to her other franchise that she's been in, but also just like cool storytelling, very cool moment. I love the treating of this like brigand, they're all the dog face people. I thought that was kind of cool. And the AT-ST being like, repainted and having this very like, it feels like its own character, even though it's being piloted by 2 people. I really like that opening. Do you have any other likes, or should I?
Oh, yeah. I mean, just a couple little silly moments. I love that Din tries to pay off the waitress for more info on Cara Dune, and she's too pure to understand what he's doing. And she's like, and he says, so you think I'm some kind of mercenary? And she's just like, you are a Mandalorian, right?
Yeah.
And on the AT-ST, I love the restraint to make a single AT-ST a huge problem.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of Star Wars stories, you'd be fighting like 8 of them, but 1 is a serious problem. I love that. And I just want to shout my last I want to shout out the final moments. Perfect. That he's willing to leave the kid.
Yeah.
Breaks his heart, but Cara just says it's going to kill him. It's going to crush him or whatever. And he says he'll get over it. We all do. Fantastic writing. Less is more. And then just that you see the bounty hunter moving in on Grogu and you hear a gunshot. And I mean, anybody that's seen movies before can call it, right? It's going to cut to Cara Dune shooting the bounty hunter, and they did.
Yeah.
But perfect illustration of why they can't stay. Right? Love all of it. But you got to, I do have a couple whiny respectful dislikes, but you
I
got
do
other
too.
positives?
I have a couple of more likes.
Yeah.
The moment where Mando finally takes off his helmet to eat, and she's like, "Oh, you didn't eat out there," and he's like, "Yeah, no, I'll be fine." But the fact that he Mandalorians can't eat unless they are alone, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
I love that there's this kind of love story for Mando where she's totally taken by him, and he's like, and even Cara Dune says it, are you gonna let that widow make you a happy man or something like that, And I do like the introduction of Cara Dune. Cara Dune I think really works as a character, which is sad that we don't get that character anymore. But it is what it is. I do love this opening fight between them though. It's a great way to show, hey, there's this other cool character and they're also a badass and they get to fight. But then one discussion question, Matt, why is all food in Star Wars blue?
For sure on The Mandalorian it is.
Blue shrimp.
Probably because they got a way to make it consistently look cool on screen, and it's probably that simple.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's definitely Favreau and the Mando versus style. But yeah, my whiny dislikes, the opening sequence, the blue fishes and the dog aliens, it was just like, come on. And this is not really a dislike. I'm not big on Cara Dune. I think Gina's just kind of flat as a performer, which is what the character is. But then there's times that when she needs to be a face character, I'm not going to say that I'm happy that she's not involved anymore, even though what she did to no longer be involved, I think it was warranted for her to not be for her to not get to play anymore. I'll leave it at that. But I am happy that the Rangers of the New Republic show does not exist with her as the lead, because I do not think she could carry a show.
Yeah.
I really don't. And I just, her line, once this thing steps into the pond, it's going down. Are you in an 80s rap video? What is this?
That's not her. That was the writing.
But the way she delivered it, it's like, once this thing steps into the pond, it's going down. Come on. And then last wine, the village actors that aren't Omera, the widow that Din kind of has a will they won't they with for 5 seconds. The village actors that aren't her, I find to be very whiny and annoying, which is referencing Seven Samurai correctly. The two ones that talk are kind of oh my gosh, and that's the style, but I just found it to be grating.
Yeah, well, that comedic actor, the main guy, he's in everything now. He was in Loki. He was in.
That's true.
He's in everything. He's actually very good on the Tacoma FD. If you want a silly, stupid show, it's by the guys who did Super Troopers. But it's in a fire.
That's right.
What is that? Fire truck. They're firefighters. Sorry, it's early. But yeah.
Okay. Chapter 5, The Gunslinger.
The Gunslinger. After a space battle that damages the Razor Crest, the Mandalorian finds himself on the twin sun planet of Tatooine, seeking repairs from Pelimado. To make ends meet, he teams up with Toro Calican, a wannabe bounty hunter, to take on Fennec Shand, a crime syndicate assassin. Things go south when Toro double-crosses Mando, shoots Shand, and holds up the child hostage. Din kills Toro and saves the child. Favorite moment, Matt?
Before I get into the whininess, my favorite moment, actually, honestly, is Stormtrooper helmets on spikes. That is so cool, and that was in the trailer. I think that might have been the first moment of the trailer.
Yeah,
and everybody was just like, "Oh!" But I love that bit. I think it's so cool.
Yeah.
And I wanted to shout out, written and directed by Dave Filoni. Now you know that I love Senor Filones as he is
Senor Filones.
But in my opinion, Toro Calican kind of single-handedly makes this a not awesome episode, in my opinion. But Zach, what's your biggest like? What's your favorite part?
Favorite part for me is I think it's just returning to Tatooine in general.
Cool.
I think it was a big swing to do so, because it could have gone real bad. the returning to the Mos Eisley Cantina, the Dune Sea, like everything, it just is done really well from a production standpoint. So I think that was a really big swing. And again, like you said, stormtroopers' helmets on pikes, I think is
so
really cool. But yeah.
I like the way this one opens.
Mm-hmm.
Just that we open in a space battle, but then it's the first cringy moment of the show for me when the guy's like, I can bring you in warm and I can bring you in cold, and then Din shoots him. That's my line.
Yeah.
It's like he's never spoken like that before or since. Seen you off alone, but okay, back to Zach.
I love that the bar that Mos Eisley Cantina that was no droids is now run by droids. I think that's
well done.
That's pretty funny. But yeah, that's my next pick. Like you.
Right on. I didn't like it at first, but Tusken Raider sign language is a really cool idea.
Yeah.
Really cool idea. Yeah. I didn't really have anything else to say on it. Just that initially I was like, what? That's dumb. How does he know that? That's weird, but super cool.
Yeah, that's my next big one too, and just a little bit of background on that. It was developed by actor Troy Kotsur, who's an Academy Award winner for his work on Coda. He's a really, really great actor. He is deaf, and he developed all of the Tusken Raider sign language, and I think it's really cool to give a culture to a race of Star Wars people that were like monsters or bad guys, but like to see them have culture is really cool.
Yeah, agreed. I love Fennec Shand.
Yeah,
I think she's so cool.
Is this the first appearance? It is, isn't it?
Yes.
Because then they go back and add her to Clone Wars and Bad Batch and all that, but this was the first.
She wasn't ever in Clone Wars, but she was in Bad Batch for sure. Because this came out. Season 7 of Clone Wars hadn't come out yet. That's weird to remember, but the rest of it had. Yeah. But they were. I think they'd probably animated it at this point, but who knows or whatever. Point is, I love it, and I think it's funny. Zam Wessel, whatever. Her look is a good look, so just gave that look to a different character.
Mm-hmm.
And there might be some lore about how it's a organization of assassins, but I don't remember right now. If you know, let us know.
Yeah.
But and I'll just say, speaking of, I love the attack on her like sniper position.
Yeah, it was
very
really cool.
straightforward. That we're gonna blind her with flares while we're charging.
Yeah,
sniper with the high ground that you have to blind to attack. Really, really cool. That's it for my likes. So back to you. Rattle off all your positives, and then we'll make fun of Toro Calican.
Yeah, I love the boba tease at the very end because it pays off because they use the same clink clink of his walk that we had in the thing, and Star Wars fans are crazy, and they were like, that's Boba Fett's walk. I know it because I heard it when I was 5, and I think that's so cool that does pay off in season 2. And I love, that's one of my favorite moments of it. And then I do have some positive things to say about Toro Calican. We give him a lot of crap. You're supposed to hate...
I do too.
Yeah.
I do too.
You're supposed to hate this character.
Sure.
Everything about him you're supposed to hate.
Sure.
Do I think he could have been a little bit more grounded? Maybe. Do I think that his dad is a better actor than he is? Yes. I looked it up. His dad is Bobby Cannavale. Who's a great actor.
What? Sorry.
Yeah. And so maybe, but like, if you look at it, he does the job that he's supposed to do. You're supposed to hate him the entire time. He's supposed to be this wannabe upstart. Do I think that you could have had a little bit more love? I think we could have, what we want is that we want to love to hate this character instead of we just don't like the character, we just hate to hate the character.
Well, so I think the writing is great for that character. It's so good. You get to play this punk new bounty hunter that's all like talk, but is really, then he has to admit, this is my first job, whatever. But then you get to betray the main character and hold the kid hostage, and you get to show your true colors.
Yeah.
It's such a great written role that I think basically every line the guy has is delivered terribly. I just sorry. Like, and I don't know if it's direction, because I haven't seen any other of this actor's work, and I'm sorry to be this negative, but that's part of why I think it's so funny, is that even that picture that I keep putting up of him whenever we bring him up is so derpy. He's like, it's just like, what? Like, I think the whole thing is funny, and I like to punk on him because he went on Twitter and ripped Rise of Skywalker to shreds when it came out. Like, he was mean, and he got bodied in the comments, and I thought it was so funny.
Well, I didn't know that he was a rude person.
It was everybody going, why are you talking about anything bad being in Star Wars? You're the worst character they've ever had. It was so funny. It was across the board. So not that negative stuff should always be met with negativity, but sometimes it's fun. And but yeah, he tried to rip that movie a new one, and he got wrecked. So, but to me, it's because I'm with you.
Yeah.
Oh, I slapped my mic. Get out of here. I'm with you. The writing, I think, is great. I think Filoni did a really great job. I just think that guy doesn't do it.
Yeah.
So there you go. So that's why I'll make fun of him a lot.
Yeah. Agreed.
You got other positives?
That's the end of my positives. I was just trying to, give a little devil's advocate, because I also bump up against his performance and think that other people could have done it better, but
sure. But so also, and I think I'm alone in this, I've never really liked Peli Motto.
Really? I like her.
I like the way she interacts with Grogu. Mm-hmm. That's great. But everything else, I just think, like, when she's that crappy to everybody, it's like, why? That's why you're not successful. Like,
but Matt,
when you're just
she lives
rude
on a
to
planet
everyone.
with 2 suns.
But like, she's just so like crummy to Din. Like, I understand they're trying to do the thing where you introduce likable guest stars that then you have we need mechanics done. He's going to go to the mechanic that we've met, right? But I just don't think she's that likable. The biggest thing that the first time I found her really, really likable and funny was Book of Boba Fett, when that annoying lackey of the mayor and the two of them start hitting on each other. I thought that was hilarious, and I love them as like a couple of characters that everybody finds annoying. So I really, really hope they show up in Mando season 4 and they're dating. I would think that was awesome. But yeah, I don't know. Something about her, she just doesn't work for me.
I disagree. I think she works.
Cool.
Like, for me, she totally works because
awesome.
If you think about it, like, she's just a docking bay, like, mechanic, like, mechanics are always a little gruff, a little, they're always trying to, the stereotype is they're always trying to take your money and, like, oh, well, you came in for tires, but your transmission's out,
Sure.
So to me, she works. I think she's she's silly and fun.
Cool. I wanted to.
Yeah. No, it's good to agree to disagree. You know,
Yeah.
like it's. I think that's good. So.
You got anything else on Chapter 5?
Nope. I got
Chapter
a lot
6.
on the next episode, though.
Fascinating. Here we go. Chapter 6, The Prisoner. The Mandalorian meets up with Ranzar Malk, a shady contact from his past who gives him a job. He must join a crew of mercenaries to break out a prisoner Quinn from a New Republic prisoner transport. The crew includes the Twi'lek Xi'an, the Devaronian Berg, droid pilot Zero, and former Imperial sharpshooter Miggs Mayfeld, played by Bill Burr, which is cool. The crew betrays Mando and tries to trap him in the prison transport, but he defeats them, throws them in the jail, and sends New Republic X-Wing pilots to Ranzar's location, destroying the space station. Zach, what's your favorite part of Chapter 6?
Favorite part of Chapter 6, I'm going to do a crazy one. It's the cast. It is such an amazing star-studded cast. Every single one of these people is a person that you've seen before, but you might not realize it. Xi'an the Twi'lek is Tonks from Harry Potter. Her brother is the Ismael Cruz Cordova. Is in Lord of the Rings. He's in the Rings of Power. He is the ranger elf that everybody got mad at because he was black. And they're all wrong. And he is amazing in that show. He's absolutely amazing in that show.
Cool.
Berg is Clancy Brown, otherwise known as
Legend.
every voice that you've ever heard. But
Legend.
Mr. Krabs. You got Bill Burr! And he even looks like Mr. Krabs too, in this one. You got Bill Burr as Mayfeld, and it's funny because he has had a rant on not liking Star Wars.
Many. It was funny because he said to Favreau, "He's like, are you sure you want to cast me?" And Favreau was like, "He's like, I hate this stuff." And Favreau was like, "Yeah, I think it'd be funny."
Yeah. Ranzar Malk is played by an actor who is in Sons of Anarchy and a very similar, shady guy, but he's a fantastic actor. Zero is played by Richard Ayoade, who you might have seen. He's in that, he's a comedic actor in that, tech show. I can't remember the name of it, but very funny.
That's the voice, and the physical performance is Chris Bartlett.
Yeah, who we got to meet or see at ScumCon, who is also fantastic. You get Matt Lanter, who is Anakin Skywalker from the Clone Wars in this episode, and you get 3 directors as X-Wing pilots. Just the cast for this episode is amazing, and it makes me so happy.
Yeah. My favorite part is basically the same stuff. There's 2 things that are my favorite parts of the episode. Bill Burr as Mayfeld, just in general, awesome.
Yeah.
So cool. Character that totally worked. Sidebar, while I am happy, I would love the New Republic show to come back with Bill Burr as the lead. I think that would be excellent. Surround him with similar characters that are maybe former Imperial types or something that are all learning to care and choosing to care, and now they're New Republic agents. I think that would be an awesome show.
That's crunchy.
What do you mean?
Like because Bill Burr was a former Imperial, that's crunchy. It's good drama,
Yeah. I think Fennec Shand would be another great character on that show.
Yeah.
Not necessarily, but anyway. But then same bit. Dave Filoni's cameo and introduction as Trapper Wolf. I love it. And Rick Famuyiwa, director of this episode, and Deborah Chow getting to play X-Wing pilots. So fun. And apparently Dave did not want to do this, and Favreau basically made him. And I think that makes it that much funnier.
Yeah.
So let's do this way as we're running long on time. Rattle off all your likes. If I got anything to say about them, I'll hop in.
Gotcha.
But let's go the way we did with our first reviews of stuff.
I love the quote, "I wasn't a stormtrooper, wise ass." From
I wasn't
Mayfield.
a stormtrooper, wise ass.
He's like, he was an Imperial sharpshooter, and Din's like, is that saying something? I love the droids in this, the security droids in this remind me of Daleks from Doctor Who, the ones that kind of float, but then the other droids are pretty cool too. We see an Ardinian, which is also cool. Another, John
Where was
Favreau.
an Ardinian? I missed it.
He's in one of the cells.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Which is a nice nod to Jon Favreau's character. I love the surprise on Mayfield's face when Mando takes out an entire squadron of droids, being like, "Oh, he is the man that they said he was. Okay, cool." And then this almost was my favorite moment of the show, but I love the scary movie red light sequence of Din taking everyone down.
Yes.
And you don't know if he killed them, you don't know if he didn't, and the guy asks him, he's like, "What happened?" He goes, "They got what they deserved," and then they're all in a cell together.
Yeah.
Very cool. I love Deveronians not being affected by fire. I think that's really cool because there originally was a devil mask from a Halloween store. So I think that's really fun. And I love that we got Matt Lanter in real life. Matt Lanter was the voice of Anakin Skywalker for the Clone Wars. He plays the rebel captain here. Unfortunately gets killed. But I think that's really, really fun to bring him in. And that was Dave Filoni just being like, "Hey, you want to be in real one?"
Come play.
Yeah.
Come hang out for a day. Dave, do the same for Ashley Eckstein and James Arnold Taylor.
Yes.
Please. Not that you're listening, but if you were, senior
Not that you're not really busy leading all of Lucasfilm, but
he doesn't care what we say, but it'd be fun. The only one I want to bounce off of that is a poor Matt Lanter.
Yeah.
He plays such a don't kill me. I think it's hilarious. I like Ranzar Malk as a peek into who Din used to be.
Yeah.
I think that his past will work best as being kept, not spelling it out. Because all we need to know is that what he said about a job. What do you think of this target practice? That he used to be not great. I mean, it might be interesting maybe to see him as like an enemy in something, as an antagonist in a story.
Oh, like in a prequel to the Mando? That would be cool.
Yeah, that if he shows up and you're like, oh, he's a friend, he's like, this is pre-Grogu, dog. He's not great.
Red armor, just like gunning down people.
Or just the armor that we saw initially. Yeah, well, I guess it was red at first, wasn't it?
Yeah, the chest plate was kind of red.
And then it just, I got to bring it up again, the strafing run of X-Wings. Rewatching this episode, there's just something I love about X-Wings, and I want an X-Wing show. Make this, we don't have enough listeners for people to know stuff that we've talked about before, but all these young pilots that we're meeting on all of these stories, make a show about Poe Dameron or someone training the next generation of X-Wing pilots. It would be so much fun. I think you'd make $1 billion.
Yeah.
This X-Wing Academy. Let's go.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
But them's all my likes. You got any others?
Nope, that's it for me.
You have any respectful dislikes? I do.
No, I actually really like this episode. What are your dislikes?
Well, it's that I remembered 5 being my least favorite, but this is.
Really?
I like 5 outside of Toro. But this one's just kind of tedious to me. They kind of overdo all of the, we hired you for this job, but this bad thing and this bad thing and this bad thing and this bad thing and this bad thing too that you don't know about, but we hired you, so do it. Just do a different job. Just be like, you know what? Never mind. I'm going to take you back.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go do any other job in the universe. I just think they kind of beat that to death. And there's just something about Xi'an that I don't like. I find her very grating. I think it was like in a way that like I buy Cara Dune as very intimidating and scary. Xi'an, it's just like, why are you talking like that? To me, I don't know. There's a lot of tongue action with like every word of dialogue, and I'm like, gross. Maybe that's the intention, but I just this one I feel like it doesn't work for me in a way that others do, where you can see where it's going from moment one. We're going to set up a crew of bad people that he has to cooperate with that are going to betray him that he has to take down.
Yeah.
And I was just waiting for him to take them down. Honestly. So not that we had to end on a negative note. That's the only thing about leaving the dislikes for the end, is that we end on negative notes, and that sucks. So the X-Wings are awesome.
It's a really well shot episode. It's a very well directed and beautifully shot episode.
Yes. Yeah, like I thank you. There we go.
Yeah.
I have no qualms about the direction. Rick Famuyiwa crushed it. There's a reason he's gotten to direct a bunch of Mandoverse stuff. I just didn't really like the story. I think was where I was.
This is the only one that feels kind of filler, but besides that, I do like this episode. So
that's kind of what I mean, is that this is the only one that, because 4 and 5 are quote unquote filler too, but they work for me as adventure serials more than this one does, if that makes sense.
I think this one works for me because of the Mayfeld payoff in season 2.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I love that episode.
Yeah.
It's one of the best episodes of the show, but this one in a box.
Yeah. All right. Well, Chapter 7, The Reckoning. Let's get the band back together. Greef Karga contacts Mando with an opportunity to clear his name, clean the Empire out of Navarro, and make sure the child is free. Mando, being distrustful, recruits Cara Dune, Queel, and reluctantly a reprogrammed IG-11 to take on the Empire. While en route to Navarro, they are attacked by flying monsters, and the child heals Greef Karga with the Force. Greef admits that this was all a trap for Mando and the child, and they resolve to try and kill the Imperial client together. Things go south, however, when Imperial Moff Gideon arrives, and his troops kill the client, surround Greef, Cara, and Mando, kill Queel, and capture the child.
I wanted to shout out, I wrote flying monsters because I didn't know what those are called.
I wrote pterodactyls, I think, when I did mine. So.
According to Wikipedia, Navarro Reptavian, which also just means that...
They're reptiles.
Oh, they don't have a name. I just yelled so loud. Predatory Reptavians, native to the planet Navarro.
Yeah.
So they don't have a name, but we'll keep flying monsters.
Flying monsters.
My biggest like about this one, the intro to Moff Gideon. Works on so many levels, and it's so good.
Yeah.
And he lands that awesome TIE fighter. You get the 501st Legion
Actual
showing up,
Yeah.
actual real life 501st Legion as all those extras. Spoilers, Quill's death, everything. It is all so great.
Yeah.
I love all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So there you go. What's your favorite moment?
My favorite moment, I also would probably, so if I'm not doing Gideon's arrival, it's the Ugnaught lore that we get.
Ooh.
Because he and Kara kind of like bump heads because he was, she's like, you worked for the Empire. He's like, I was a slave of the Empire for 3 human lifetimes and I bought my way out. So, shut up. Which I think is really cool. I didn't realize that Ugnaughts lived that long, but it makes sense because they all look like little old guys. I liked that, final look into the character of who Quill is before he dies, unfortunately.
And he mentions that he worked in the gene farms, and I like and dislike that we don't know what that is.
Yeah.
It's the type of thing they were trying to keep as many doors open as possible.
Yeah.
I still think where they were going with all of this is they were going to tie into Palpatine in the sequels, and then at some point decided but at some point they pulled the plug and were like, no, never mind. We're going to make it self-contained, and everything that we've been seeing is Moff Gideon trying to make himself force sensitive. Like at some point they pulled the plug and changed it.
But you could still have it. It still has the through line to Palpatine, I feel like.
Well, but we'll go ahead and go there. In season 3, they talk about if I remember right, the other Remnant guys are like, you've been doing your own cloning, unsanctioned. And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
That doesn't mean they're not going to use it.
I think they were intentional on closing the door.
Yeah. It's also weird because when you add in the story of the Bad Batch and the cloning of Force sensitives there, it's very muddy.
That's what I mean. I think they were probably going towards that. And then when they decided what they were going to do with Bad Batch and have that literally be Palpatine's stuff and what Rise of Skywalker actively ended up being, because we all know that movie was being re-edited up until shortly before it came out. And I'm not saying that to knock it. That's just the nature of it.
Yeah.
They probably had to be like, okay, never mind. Let's make this a closed loop and say that this was all Gideon. But neither here nor there. Rattle off all your likes.
Yep. I had forgotten about the Force choke that Grogu does to Kara. He's like, "You're hurting my dad," which I think is cool because it shows untrained Force powers how dangerous they can be, how dangerous the Force can be when you're just on emotion, which is a nice, comment about the Force and the dark side, which you didn't expect. I didn't expect to have in The Mandalorian. I love the viral line, I would like to see the baby. I like that Gideon shoots down his own people. It shows how evil he is. It's kind of Darth Vader in a way, but in a way where he's not Darth Vader. And so you're like, oh, interesting. And then, just the last bit, the Quill's death is so sad at the very end. It's so heartbreaking. And
the tension leading up to it, it's so scary. Yeah. There's so much tension in that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's all for me. You got any?
Yeah. Little one, I like the creative fighting kind of just bar fight system that they have for Kara and that Zabrak, that they're like tethered together.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's like you can't get distance. I thought that was fun. And it's a way to get Gina Carano to do her MMA in Star Wars, which was awesome. I just love the concept of reprogramming IG-11. That he's this unstoppable killer robot, and then how he's been reprogrammed as a nurse droid. And that this is such a cool way to get Din out of his droid phobia.
Yeah.
Like, I love that. And his first line, because he shows up and they all go for guns and he just says, T. Hilarious. I love the flying thing attack. The flying, as we keep calling them, flying monsters. It's just, hey, monsters are an essential part of the Star Wars formula. I don't care what anybody says. Monsters need to be in Star Wars. Yeah. This is classic pulp fantasy. And Grogu healing Grief Karga. I love that when you couple that in with Force Choke and healing in the same episode, it's because, to me, it's not, let me access my Force powers list and select force choke. Let me select force heal. Let me select force push. No, he's reaching out with the force. He can see a problem. He's going to affect the problem with the force. Same thing with to summon the acolyte. Osha wasn't going, I will now use the force choke ability that I have been trained in. It's, I want him to stop talking. I'm going to close his throat, and I'm going to release my anger and rage, and it's going to cut off his windpipe and kill him.
Yeah.
Right? That it is instinctual. It is reactionary. And it has to work differently in video games, but that's not what the force is.
Yeah.
You know? I love all of that. And have to shout out Grief Karga's line as Grogu's coming in with, he's trying to eat me! So funny.
So good.
Just Carl Weathers is rest in peace.
He's gonna eat me!
It's so funny. Rest in peace, sir. He is excellent on this show.
He's so good.
He crushes every moment. And I love this episode.
Yeah.
Fantastic setup for a fantastic finale.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any dislikes?
I have one.
Hit it.
Why does every Jedi in post-Disney era know how to force heal? We never see it in the OT. We never see it in the prequels. We never see an instance of force heal. And I like it as a concept, but I feel so that always happens, you know?
Well, and it's what I think part of it is what I was saying, but at the same, I'll give you, the Rey one never really bumped me, because we established that she's been reading ancient lost Jedi texts for a year. She would have learned stuff. I totally buy that she's learned things that the prequel Jedi didn't know about.
For sure.
100%. The Grogu one, it's like, okay, if it is that instinctive and reactionary, the way that I had canon it, it's the thing of Grogu is a child and he's pure of heart.
Yeah.
So he's just pure, what people like to think great Jedi are.
Yeah.
That he's just pure force. It's just pure instinct and reaction.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, who all have we seen heal outside of Rey and Grogu? Is there other people?
Ben does it.
Ben does it after Rey did it to him.
Yeah.
And they're the dyad. But is there anybody else? I'm not trying to challenge you. I'm trying to challenge myself.
I feel like there might be one more. But I don't know.
Yeah. Everybody's going to get mad.
They did it on Ahsoka and you guys don't remember?
If they did, I don't remember. Remind me.
Yeah.
Anywho, I don't know. It is kind of weird. But yeah.
All right. Chapter.
We'll headcanon it, or I'll headcanon it as he's the child and he's pure of heart. Okay.
No, you're
Chapter 8.
Yeah.
Redemption. After Moff Gideon reveals that he knows everything about our heroes, Din puts together that Gideon was involved in the purge of Mandalore, as it's the only way it could have known his name. We learn that Din Djarin is a Mandalorian foundling. He was saved by Death Watch from B-1 battle droids in the Clone Wars that killed his parents. IG-11 rescues the child and returns him to Din, Cara, and Greef. After Din is mortally wounded, IG-11 convinces Din to go against his Mandalorian creed and remove his helmet so that he can save his life. They reunite with the Armorer and learn that the Imperials have killed and scattered every other member of the Covert. They escape through the sewer tunnels, IG-11 sacrifices himself, and Din crashes Gideon's TIE fighter. Cara resolves to stay on Navarro with Greef, and Moff Gideon cuts himself free from his TIE wreckage with the Darksaber.
Nice.
Zach, favorite part of the Mandalorian Season 1 finale?
Well, just so the entire Star Wars community doesn't come from you, it's B2 battle droids.
Oh my God, you're so right. Wow.
Just so they don't come at you.
Wow.
But my favorite moment, I'm going to go lighthearted because so much of this episode is just like full on action. I love me some Jason Sudeikis, no matter what he's in. And Jason Sudeikis as the scout trooper is so freaking funny to me. Him hitting Grogu on the face, being like, you instantly hate him. But also them just like trying to shoot the battery and both missing over and over again is such a nice, lighthearted way to start this episode while still giving us information about Gideon. They're like, hey, can we come in yet? And they're like, hey, Gideon just killed the last person that interrupted him, so no, I'm not going to go over there. I'm not going to go over there and talk to him. He just gunned down an entire squadron of our people. Nah, you can wait. Like...
Yeah, he just killed someone for cutting him off, so it's so funny.
And I love the other stormtrooper being like, Well, he's probably hungry, right? Like you just want to see him. No. Is he even alive? You hit him pretty hard, you know?
And it's such a good way to open the episode after having such a tragic thing happen to Queel that then we start with, like you said, they're hitting the kid, so we instantly hate them, but they're also being so funny. Like it is classic.
It's also such a well-written scene. Like I want to take that and do it. Like, you know, like as an acting exercise, I think it would be so fun. We should do it, right?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
I mean, we got 2 people. Okay. That's happening at some point.
Yeah.
My favorite moment is a similar vein. Well, there's 2, but do the magic hand thingy is so funny. I don't care who
Come
you
on,
are.
baby! Do the magic hand thingy!
do the magic hand thingy! And the kid just holds up his hand and he goes, well, I'm out of ideas. It's like, again, Carl Weathers. I am so sad that he passed. Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Anyway, but similar moment, the reveal of the Darksaber.
Yeah.
I remember because this came out right around Christmas, if I remember right.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember watching this with my family, and he cuts himself out of the tie with the Darksaber, and I was like, and none of my family knew what that was. Right?
Yeah.
They're like, what are you freaking out about? And I tried to explain. I was like, it was on Clone Wars and Rebels. And they were just like, what?
The last time we saw it, Bo-Katan had it.
Yeah. Exactly. You don't understand. It was a creation of George Lucas because Dave Filoni made a lightsaber not cut through a sword, you know, and they're just like, what are you? Stop spasming out.
It started with Tar Vizsla way back when.
It's true. All of that happened. I'm pretty sure I tried to condense all that information, and I talked for about 5 minutes. And after about 30 seconds, my family's eyes just kind of glazed over, and I was like, I should stop, but I'm not. I have to get this out for me too. But yeah, you just mainline all your likes, dog.
All right. I love IG-11 just being a boss. Again, like, he is such a well-written character. I'm kind of sad that we don't get any of his personality in the later episodes when they repurpose him. Also don't know how they repurpose him after this because dude blows up. But I love the trust that is eventually earned between him and Din, you know, where he's like, I can't take off my helmet. It's against my creed. No living creature can see me. He goes, I'm not living. And he's like, yeah, you're right.
I am not alive.
Cool.
Yeah.
And poor Pedro, they took off his helmet and they said, you're not going to be pretty. you're going to be sweaty and injured and
bloody.
Yeah. I love that he is fully an Earth droid. He has a Bacta vial to save Din.
Yeah.
I love that he comes up with, he's like, of all of the odds of the child surviving and me surviving, there's none. I have to die for the child to survive. I have a base programming where I cannot be captured. Let's use it. I think that's so cool. I really
and that Din, and that Din, who's so afraid of droids and hates IG, is begging for him to not do this.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll shut up.
Yeah, that he finally has a buddy. That's a droid. It's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
I love Gideon as a villain. He's very competent, which is nice to see from your villains. He's a little Thrawn-ish with his like, I have plans, I am tactical, which is nice to see on live action, like to see like a competent tactical. I'm not going to necessarily beat you with my strength, but I will beat you with my mind. And just the pacing of this entire episode, I think, is really great. After you get your little comedy beat, it's action, action, action. We're going to move. And I think it's a great way to end the first season. And lastly, the little bit with the armor of her being like, hey, here's your signet. You know, you're going to take this. He's a foundling now. You are his father. I think is really cool. And her awesome action sequence, just gushing, of her taken down with the tools. So cool.
It's so cool. I love that. She is brutal to those stormtroopers. As well she should be. Fight the Empire. But I love that moment too. I love this whole episode. I love the opening with the scouts. I love the armor versus stormtroopers. I forgot how awesome IG-11 is. I love Din getting a jetpack.
Yeah,
and
that
we
sequence
get to
is
see
cool.
We get to see a Mandalorian fighting a starfighter, which is just so wish fulfillment and fun. And this season does just such an excellent job of keeping the stakes by shrinking the view, right? Shrinking the scope. And in that, having big stakes.
Yeah.
He's not fighting a squadron. He's fighting a TIE fighter. Period. Obviously, there's a bunch of stormtroopers, so you could say that flies against what I was talking about. But people forget how great that shootout is in the streets of Navarro. That shot that they used to promote the show of Din bursting through the door, shooting, kicking. It's, I like you said, I think people forget how much everybody loved season 1 and season 2 because season 3 was kind of meh, right? They kind of sleep on it, and just rewatch this show or listen to us talk about it. And if that's enough, then you're weird. But listen to us talk about it and rewatch the show. I mean, those were we said it. This episode's fantastic. Taika Waititi absolutely crushed it. And I totally get them coming out of this experience with him and saying, would you like to write a movie, Mr. Taika? And he's like, I would. But at this point, it was almost 7 years ago. So I don't think it's happening. But I don't have any dislikes. Do you have any dislikes?
No, I do have just 2 last little fun discussion questions that I was thinking about as the season of a whole. Do you think Yoda picked Dagobah because of the high frequency of frogs and food?
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's true. And then I have, just as the season as a whole, I really love the concept art being the credits.
Oh, yeah.
Which is something I totally forgot about. And then on the rewatch, I was like, oh, this is so cool. I love seeing concept art in general. And then last discussion question, are Mandalorians better fighters than bounty hunters, or do they just have better gear, Matt?
Well, that's the weird thing for me with Mandalorian lore in general, is they'll talk about them how they're the greatest warriors in the galaxy. And there were times in EU novels that there was one, I want to say it's in the Legacy of the Force series, is this moment that I always thought was so hilarious, where they're like, the galaxy has a problem with a new enemy to fight. We need to call the Mandalorians. And it's like, what? Like, hold on. There's not that many of them. And so, I don't know. I think the storytelling is more fun when they are that good.
Yeah.
But it is also that their armor is that good, and their gadgets are that good. So, I feel both ways about it.
Yeah, for me, it's that, so because they were, in their history, were trained to fight Jedi, which they even make reference in this episode, which is a really cool nod, being like, he is one of our enemy, but you can take him there because that's what we do. We're Mandalorians. Yeah. So their gadget is advanced enough, but also you're trained from just like this big. It's the same as a Jedi. You're trained to fight your entire life, and if you're trained to fight your entire life, you're going to be better at it than some guy named Toro Calican who picks up a blaster and says, my mommy and daddy bought me this jacket and these binoculars. And I'm a bounty hunter now.
We're going to start to have a Toro Calican just discounter.
That's on the character.
All right. But I mean, it's a fantastic question, and I don't know. I would love the history of the Mandalorians is dicey if they were to get into in modern Star Wars, because there's so much lore about it in the EU. And so really all that would happen is there'd be people coming in with no expectations and people coming in with decades of expectations. But we'll talk more about that when we get to seasons 2 or 3. But what was your other discussion question?
Oh, that was it. That's
I thought you had 2.
That was 2. It was like 3.
Oh, it was? Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yoda,
do you really buy? So going off of how good at fighting, how the Mandalorians are, do you really buy that Imperials killed that many Mandalorians?
Yes, because of what we know from Rebels.
Explain.
Sabine created a thing that tapped into the Beskar and fried them.
But she destroys that.
She does.
On Rebels. It doesn't make it out of that show.
But just like tech-wise, and like Mandalorians are really good at fighting on the ground. We don't fully see their space battle abilities except for a little bit, and if you have overwhelming bombardment from space, which is kind of what the Night of a Thousand Tears is about.
That's fair.
And every time we see it, we don't see ground battle, we just see bombers. So it's just like, if they weren't expecting it, you catch somebody by surprise, bombs,
Yeah.
Then yeah.
That's fair. I mean, when I was rewatching it, it hit me weird. It's like, how did they take them out? But at the same time, there are just so many stormtroopers.
Yeah, they're also not so Jedi. Many. They're just people.
There's sheer numbers, and if they trapped the Mandos down there, it would just be a war of attrition. It would just be a matter of time.
Also, it happens while there's clones, so they have all of those clone troopers. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, you're talking about Night of a Thousand Tears.
Night of a Thousand Tears, like they still, I think, have clones in the military, don't they? At that point.
They've been almost completely phased out at that point.
Okay, I thought
so.
It
The last time we see, no, it's because it's that. So we haven't seen the story told. I don't know that we ever will. We just hear them talking about it. But Sabine returns the Darksaber to Bo-Katan. Bo-Katan unites all the Mandos, and that's in Rebels Season 4, which is right before A New Hope. So it's during the original trilogy that they turn Mandalore to glass. But yeah. So I was wrong. I have one other discussion question. Do you think they showed enough of a character change in Din in this season? Or do you buy the character arc that he goes on? I'm just asking.
100%. Yeah, I mean, he starts off as a ruthless bounty hunter that we literally see him chop somebody in a doorway, chop him in half. And then it ends with him being a dad. And we see, for me, it's that episode 3 that sells it, because he gives him the child. He's like, hey, what's going to happen? And they're like, why are you asking questions? And he's like, yeah, you're right. Hey, what's going to happen? He's like, why are you asking questions? He's like, yeah, you're right. And then he gets on the ship and he's like,
yeah.
You can even see, he's like, dang it. I got to go do this. I don't want to. So
yeah. Okay,
from there,
fair.
I feel like it's a little kind of steady, kind of flat after he makes that decision. But he does battle with it every now and then. So does it not work for you?
No, it does. I was just curious. It's then when you hear how violent he used to be, there's times that I'm like, I don't know. I don't buy that he was that much of a douchebag before. But yeah, I mean, I love Din Djarin. I want Din Djarin stories for the rest of my life. Which, one of the best things about having him have to wear a helmet all the time, you can do that.
Yeah.
And they probably will. And by probably will, we know that they will. Last thing I want to say about The Mandalorian Season 1, because it always needs to be brought up. People know now, but we cannot slight Brendan Wayne.
Yeah.
For being all of the physicality of the character.
Not all. Also Lateef Crowder.
For Season 2. But for Season 1, it was just Brendan Wayne and Pedro.
Are you 100%.
Sure? 100%. Because you can tell, especially in Season 2, because Lateef is yoked, and there are scenes in Mando Season 2 is like, whoa, he's been putting on some muscle, and he's a much bigger guy. I might be wrong, but I'm
sure you're wrong. I think Lateef
99%.
did all of the combat in Season 1. Yeah, no, Lateef Crowder's in Season 1 as well.
Oh, he is?
Chapter 1 through 8.
Well, then daggum.
Yeah, it's both of them the whole time.
Okay, then I take it back. Brendan
Put
Wayne
respect
and
on
Lateef
his name.
Crowder. That's wild. Well, then they did something different with the costume, because I remember so vividly, and I was looking at it, autoplayed to the next one before I turned it off the other day, and in the opening sequences of Season 2, Mando is much bigger. Mando has been juicing.
Yeah.
But this is, speaking of much bigger, this is a big old episode, so we should wrap up.
Yeah.
Zach, you got anything to say in closing about life?
Yeah, I love The Mandalorian. I mean, rewatching this season got me hyped for the movie. So I hope it helps you if you don't have time to rewatch. And if you do, I highly recommend rewatching at least this first season, if not Season 2 and Season 3. We will have a Season 2 and a Season 3 recap next week, or next week or the following week. I can't remember where we placed it.
No, we're into Maul.
Oh, we're into Maul. So after Maul, right before the movie comes out, so it'll be a really great. Save this one and then we'll have 2 and 3, which gives us a nice long time to watch it all. But if you like anything that we have talked about, or if you want to comment about your favorite episode of Mando, your thoughts on The Mandalorian, email us, forcesofothersradio@gmail.com. Get into the comments. Reach out to us on Instagram. Comment there. We'll probably have a clip from this somewhere. But get involved with us, because we're not the Force of Others. You are. And we want to hear from you. Matt, anything else that you want to add?
Just real quick, next week, Zach and I are going to break down all of Darth Maul's story so far, because then the week after that, Maul Shadow Lord
and I got
is
so
upon us.
much new clothes to wear just to talk about it.
Oh, I want to shout out, I am wearing a Yoda Irish t-shirt.
Yeah.
It's Yoda drinking a Guinness.
Nice.
Found it on Etsy. I'll put their shop in the doobly-doo below. I Googled Star Wars Irish shirt for St. Patrick's Day this year, and I found one. But, yeah, so next week we're going to talk about the history of Maul before and after this show, like his entire story. And then every week after that, for the next 5 weeks, we're getting some Maul, and we're going to talk, we're all going to get mauled.
Mauled at the Maul by Darth Maul.
Those episodes should come out either Tuesday or Wednesday of those weeks. Because we'll record, the episodes are going to come out, the Maul stuff will drop on Monday, then we'll talk about it the next day, and then as soon as I can get it up, we will get those episodes out to you.
Yeah.
So there we go.
Super fun.
But in the meantime, with all this Star Wars about to descend upon us over the next 2 months with that whole new show and The Mandalorian and Grogu, enjoy it, and don't sleep on The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
This show's great. And remember, we are not the Force of Others, you are, and the Force of Others will be with you.
Always. Dun 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 dun.
Bum, bum, bum.
Dun dun. Star Wars Podcast.
Okay.